A very good evening to all of you. I know you have been waiting to hear from us about some of the decisions that have been deliberated upon and taken by the Union Cabinet and the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. I'll first comment on the FDI-related decisions which have been made. On 16th, an inter-ministerial meeting which was chaired by the Honorable Prime Minister had taken a view on the sectoral caps and the entry routes in various sectors, and we had shared the same with you. However, it was mandatorily required that the Cabinet discuss the same and approved. The decisions which have been taken, endorsing by and large the interministerial recommendations, are as follows. Petroleum and natural gas, the FDI ceiling of 49% remains unchanged, but there is a change of route from FIPB to automatic. Commodity exchanges, ceiling is 49, 26% FDI, 23% FII. There's no change in ceiling, but the route has been changed to automatic. Power exchanges, again, it's 49, 26 plus 23, FDI and FII. It remains the same. The change of route to automatic. Stock exchanges, again 49, composition is same, 26 and 23. Ceiling remains unchanged. The route changes to automatic. Asset reconstruction companies is 74%, that's FDI plus FII. It has been raised from 74% to 100%. Up to 49%, the approval route is automatic. Beyond 49% up to 100%, it will be FIPB approval route. Single brand product retail trading, FDI ceiling of 100% was allowed through FIPB route. Ceiling cannot be more than 100%, but well, there's one change. Up to 49%, it will be automatic route, and beyond 49 up to 100 through FIPB approval route. Courier services, 100% is permitted. The route is changed from FIPB to automatic. Telecom sector. There has been much speculation about this. It has been discussed in detail in today's meeting. The existing FDI ceiling is 74%, 49% under automatic route, and beyond 49 up to 74 through FIPB. This ceiling has been revised upward from 74 to 100%. Up to 49%, it will be automatic. Beyond 49, FIPB approval route. Credit information companies, 49% is the existing ceiling, and entry route is FIPB. Amendment is FDI ceiling has been raised to 74. That's FDI plus FII included. And there's the change of route, FIPB to automatic. Defense sector. Existing ceiling 26%, entry route FIPB. There's no change in ceiling as far as the FIPB entry route is concerned. Even if the 26% of FDI in any defense project is more than 1,200, that is the automatic route permissible upper limit of FDI, that will go then through the FIPB scrutiny in any case, and the cabinet approval. But above 26%, all proposals for FDI in defense will be considered by the Cabinet Committee on Security on case-to-case basis which are likely to result in access to modern and state-of-art technology in the country. This will now get duly notified and reflected in the FDI policy. I'm talking of the CCS consideration and approval above 26%, which is not reflected or communicated through the extant FDI policy of the country. Now, multi-brand retail trading. We have had detailed discussions with the stakeholders. There were two decisions which were taken in the past, but the last decision was of 24th of September 2012, allowing 51% of FDI in multi-brand retail trading. A further review was felt necessary for modification of some of the conditions, and the government had consultations with all stakeholders, including a roundtable of global retailers and domestic retailers, to understand what more clarity or space was required. There are three important decisions made. As per the policy, 30% sourcing from the MSME, which have a total investment in plant and machinery not exceeding $1 million, was mandatory. Now, the proposal was that medium-scale industries with total investments in plant and machinery not exceeding $2 million to be made eligible. Requirement of sourcing from a MSME should be at the first entry point so that the investor-vendor relationship can grow. And thereafter, if the MSME as such grows, it should not be penalized or disqualified for the purposes of engagement by the investing company. Therefore, it has been changed now very clearly that it will be at the time of first engagement with the retailer as limit $2 million from 1 million to 2 million in plant and machinery, and the condition of 30% sourcing from the MSME sector will be only at the first engagement. There was also a demand to include agricultural cooperatives and farmers cooperatives in the categories of the MSME. This has been accepted and approved. As per the policy, there is a minimum threshold of $100 million for foreign direct investment in multi-brand retail trading. Now, this 50% requirement of back-end infrastructure out of the FDI, there was clarity required that when the investment comes in and the approval is given, whether it would be of the first tranche or the entire FDI, which would come in over the years and maybe a multiple of this 100 million many times over. Now it is made clear 50% of the FDI back-end infrastructure will be of the first tranche of $100 million. Thereafter, these would be need-based business decisions by the investors and their domestic partner. Let me clarify here, we are talking only about 30% MSME sourcing. It doesn't mean that the sourcing from India would be restricted to that, as is our present experience, that the sourcing from India by the global retailers is fairly substantial. I'm referring to multi-brand retailers. Single-brand retailers is universally known. There is enormous sourcing out of India, which is already taking place. And our experience with the single brands which have come in. Almost all of their sourcing is being done out of India. And that makes business sense and economic sense in our view. The third important change is with regard to the cities with a population of more than 1 million. Now, the policy as such, approved by the Cabinet on 14th of September 2012, allowed opening of MBRT, multi-brand retail, in cities with a population of 1 million or above. Only 53 in India's cities in India have that population. And only 12 states have embraced this enabling policy. A special dispensation was made by the government in consideration of a demand from landlocked states, smaller states, border states like Jammu Kashmir, Assam, Uttarakhand, Manipur, that they should not be deprived the benefits of such a policy because their strengths are in fruits and vegetables, in agri-produce. Accordingly, a dispensation was made that the identification and determination of cities in states which do not have a single city with a population of 1 million plus is left to the state government. Thereafter, states, big states which had endorsed the policy, notified the same, wanted a consideration to add more cities of their choice. All states have now been allowed to add cities in addition to the ones with a population of 1 million, which exist in their state as per their decision, identification, and determination. So these are the three major changes in the brand retail policy, which accommodate many of the issues that have been raised and brings in more clarity and gives more space to the investors. The third decision is that of the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. This was with regard to reviewing the foreign direct investment policy as the definition of the term control and management. It's important to recapitulate the course of decisions in this matter. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs had accepted the recommendations of a group of ministers in February 2009 on the definition of ownership and control in the context of foreign direct investment or equity holdings by an resident Indian entity. That definition, which was approved in 2009, is as follows. A company is considered as controlled by resident Indian citizens if the resident Indian citizens and Indian companies which are owned and controlled by resident Indian citizens have the power to appoint a majority of its directors in that company. This is the existing definition, which was notified later through Press Note 2, 3, and 4. And later, the FEMA guidelines were accordingly amended, and this is the notified definition of ownership and control. This issue was discussed between Finance Minister, Commerce and Industry Minister, and the Deputy Chairman Planning Commission. Since there have been developments, there is a SEBI-SAS regulations and the definition of ownership and control. The Companies Bill of 2012 giving a definition of ownership and control which is almost identical to the SEBI regulations on this particular issue. Thereafter, we decided to broaden and deepen the definition, aligning as far as possible with the SEBI regulations and the Companies Bill regulations. The Cabinet has considered the proposal of the new definition, which is not entirely identical to the Companies Bill or SEBI regulations for understandable reasons, as this particular definition deals specifically with the foreign direct investment. The new definition, as aligned and approved today, I shall read for your benefit. Control shall include the right to appoint a majority of the directors, is the same as last, or to control the management or policy decisions, this is new, including by virtue of their shareholding or management rights or shareholders agreements or voting agreements. So all these components are there in the SEBI regulation as well as in the Companies Bill. So what we had done, the rationale is that expanding to cover control exercised by a foreign company in various indirect ways, including the voting agreement, shareholders agreements, have been taken in the embrace of the new definition. The new definition will be prospective. It'll take a while for this to be notified and all the regulations accordingly aligned thereafter, including the FEMA guidelines. So these are the three decisions which have been taken, 2 in the Cabinet, 1 by the CCA.
Yes, Shishir.
You see, let me tell you that it's not a question of sub-brands. What we have addressed, single brand. I'll explain to you in the meantime so that I read the exact formulation to you. When an application is received for FIPB approval, the applicant, whether the owner of a brand or otherwise, thus having a legal agreement and a right from the holder of the brand holder, will file a list of products. That means multiple. A list will always be a multiple of what they can sell as single brand. There is a change, and you can register the same. If you want, I can read both the existing and the new one. Existing 6.2, 16.4, bracket 3, application seeking permission of the government for FDI in retail trade of single brand products would be made to the Secretariat for Industrial Assistance in the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. The application would specifically indicate the product categories which are proposed to be sold under a single brand. Now, the latter part, any addition to the product categories, because product categories could be confused as going beyond the single brand, to be sold under single brand would require a fresh approval of the government, because it could be other than the brand for which approval has been sought. That latter part remains by and large unchanged. The new clauses, application seeking permission of the government for FDI exceeding 49%. Now this is important because 49% is automatic. in a company which proposes to undertake single brand retail trading in India would be made Secretariat for Industrial Assistance in the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. The applications would specifically indicate the product categories which are supposed to be sold under a single brand. The rest is the same, that anything beyond 49%, and if there is a new category added, category is not sub-brand, that would be, that would require a fresh approval process.
Yes, there was a question.
Yeah, sir, आपने अभी कहा कि 10 लाख की आबादी की जो सीमा थी मल्टी रिटेल एफडीआई के लिए वो हटा दी गई है, उसका मतलब यही है ना सर? तो 10 महीने पहले जो आपने हाउस में जब
मैं बता दूं
शर्त के रूप में कहा था तो
जी मैंने शर्त के रूप में नहीं कहा था, हमने कहा था कि ये एक एनेबलिंग पॉलिसी है राज्य सरकारों को जिसमें अधिकार दिया जाता है। केंद्र की सरकार इस पॉलिसी को राज्यों में लागू नहीं करती, राष्ट्रीय नीति है, राज्यों की सरकारों का निर्णय होता है जिनको अपने राज्यों में इसको लागू करना है। 12 राज्यों ने इसको स्वीकार किया है। कई वो राज्य जो सीमा प्रांत हैं, जहाँ फल और सब्जी का उत्पादन होता है, वहाँ की चुनी हुई सरकारों की ये पुरजोर मांग थी कि उन्हें भी इस नीति का लाभ मिलना चाहिए। उनके राज्यों के अंदर कोई भी शहर ऐसा नहीं है या महानगर जिसकी आबादी 10 लाख हो, इसलिए उन्हें इसमें एक विशेष सुविधा दी जाए। वो नीतिगत निर्णय लिया गया। उन सब राज्यों को जहां 10 लाख की आबादी का कोई शहर नहीं है, अपना निर्णय करने का अधिकार केंद्र की सरकार ने स्वीकार किया। जैसा मैंने कहा कि ये केवल एक एनेबलिंग पॉलिसी है, उसी तरह अन्य राज्यों ने ये कहा कि ये सीमा उन पर नहीं लागू होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि निर्णय राज्य की सरकार को करना है। कानून के तहत 2 एक्ट हैं, एक तो जो ट्रेड लाइसेंस दिया जाता है उसका अधिकार राज्य की सरकार के पास है, वो दुकान खोलने का या बड़ा स्टोर खोलने का अधिकार, वो भी जो अप्रूवल है, उसकी अनुमति है, वो शॉप एंड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट एक्ट के तहत राज्य की सरकार या लोकल अथॉरिटी के अधिकार क्षेत्र में है। इसलिए राज्य सरकारों की इस मांग को स्वीकार कर लिया गया, क्योंकि छोटे राज्यों के लिए ये प्रावधान पहले भी किया जा चुका था। हमने जो संसद में कहा बड़े स्पष्ट शब्दों में कि ये एनेबलिंग पॉलिसी है, दैट दिस इज अ एनेबलिंग पॉलिसी and the state governments have to make their decisions. So the same dispensation which was accepted as upon the demand and request of the smaller states has also been given to other states, but the determination and identification, as I have said, is entirely left to the discretion of the elected governments of the states which are keen to implement and benefit from the policy.
Just one.
I have answered your question.
Yes.
Sir, will the changes announced in multi-brand retail, will they require an amendment to FEMA?
Well, we will look into all that. Cabinet has taken the decision.
सर, ये जो मल्टी-ब्रांड रिटेल में एफडीआई का जो फेरबदल किया गया है, इसमें वित्त मंत्रालय की तरफ से एक सिफारिश ये भी आई थी कि अगर 49% तक कोई एफडीआई करना चाहते हैं मल्टी ब्रांड रिटेल में, तो उसको ऑटोमेटिक रूट से आने दिया जाए और कोई शर्त लागू ना किया जाए, जो कंडीशन है। क्या इस पर कोई विचार बना? और
मंत्रालय ने ऐसा तो नहीं कहा था कि कोई भी शर्त लागू ना की जाए, ये आपकी जानकारी सही नहीं है। ठीक है, चर्चा के दौरान ये सुझाव आया था जिसको हमने स्वीकार नहीं किया। वो संभव इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि कुछ कंडीशंस हैं जिसमें मैंने बताया 30% सोर्सिंग की कंडीशन है एमएसएमई से, वो उसमें तरमीम की गई है कि फर्स्ट एंगेजमेंट के टाइम पे होगा, ये नई उसमें चीज़ है, पर वो कंडीशन लागू है। दूसरा, 50% जो पैसा आएगा एफडीआई के माध्यम से, 50% उसका बैक एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए लगाया जाएगा। इसलिए वो ऑटोमेटिक रूट में नहीं हो सकता, उसकी ये स्क्रूटनी होना प्रपोजल का आवश्यक समझा गया। मैंने जो आपको बताया, निर्णय जो लिया गया वो बताया, चर्चा क्या हुई मैं उसका खुलासा नहीं करना चाहता। जो निर्णय है वो सर्वसम्मति से है। दीज आर ऑल यूनानिमस डिसीजंस ऑफ द कैबिनेट।